I'm going to make another behavior card game. However, all of the cards are sheets of paper, except for Rainbow, Bowser Jr., and Bowser. I'll use as much adjectives as possible. Before I begin, I'll make the board bigger. Now let's start. Rainbow means you graduate forever. Red barrel means 1 billion years off. Diamond means 500 million years off. Crystal means 250 million years off. X means 100 million years off. Y means 75 million years off. Emerald means 50 million years off. Sapphire means 25 million years off. Ruby means 10 million years off. Topaz means 7,500,000 years off. Amethyst means 5 million years off. Platinum means 4 million years off. Gold means 3 million years off. Silver means 2 million years off. Bronze means 1 million years off. Lavender white cloud means 750,000 years off. Almost lavender white cloud means 500,000 years off. Medium lavender white cloud means 250,000 years off. Quarter dark lavender white cloud means 100,000 years off. Half dark lavender white cloud means 75,000 years off. Almost dark lavender white cloud means 50,000 years off. Dark lavender white cloud means 25,000 years off. Very dark lavender white cloud means 10,000 years off. Darker lavender white cloud means 7,500 years off. Very darker lavender white cloud means 5,000 years off. Medium darker lavender white cloud means 4,000 years off. Darkest lavender white cloud means 3,000 years off. Super lightest strawberry ice cream means 2,000 years off. Lightest strawberry ice cream means 1,000 years off. Lightest strawberry ice cream means 900 years off. Light strawberry ice cream means 800 years off. Strawberry ice cream means 700 years off. Light Bubblegum means 600 years off. Bubblegum means 500 years off. Dark Bubblegum means 400 years off. Lightest pink means 300 years off. Lighter pink means 200 years off. Light pink means 100 years off. Pink means 95 years off. Dark pink means 90 years off. Cotton candy means 85 years off. Light cotton candy means 80 years off. Dark cotton candy means 75 years off. Darker cotton candy means 70 years off. Hot pink means 65 years off. Strong hot pink means 60 years off. Stronger hot pink means 55 years off. Strongest hot pink means 50 years off. Safety red means 45 years off. Very strongest hot pink means 40 years off. Strongest rose means 35 years off. Stronger rose means 30 years off. Dark rose means 25 years off. Strong rose means 20 years off. Rose means 19 years off. Dark hot pink means 18 years off. Strong heart pink means 17 years off. Heart pink means 16 years off. Magenta means 15 years off. Safety magenta means 14 years off. Elytra means 13 years off. Light plum means 12 years off. Plum means 11 years off. Eggplant means 10 years off. Soda purple means 9 years off. Orchid means 8 years off. Purple means 7 years off. Violet means 6 years off. Dark violet means 5 years off. Dark purple means 4 years off. Dark orchid means 3 years off. Very dark purple means 2 years off. Purple rose means 23 months off. Purple mimosa means 22 months off. Purple candy means 21 months off. Indigo means 20 months off. Half dark indigo means 19 months off. Purple pink means 18 months off. Purple mountain means 17 months off. Bright purple means 16 months off. Lavender purple means 15 months off. Dark lavender purple means 14 months off. Darker lavender purple means 13 months off. Darkest lavender purple means 12 months off. Light grape means 11 months off. Grape means 10 months off. Dark grape means 9 months off. Darker grape means 8 months off. Blackberry means 7 months off. Darkest cerulean means 6 months off. Darker cerulean means 5 months off. Dark cerulean means 4 months off. Cerulean means 3 months off. Cadet blue means 2 months off. Cotton flower means 1 month off. Classic blue means 30 days off. Light blue means 29 days off. Blue means 28 days off. Dark blue means 27 days off. Blue-green means 26 days off. Navy blue means 25 days off. Dark navy blue means 24 days off. Darker navy blue means 23 days off. Darkest navy blue means 22 days off. Super darkest navy blue means 21 days off. Midnight blue means 20 days off. Darkest blue acicular means 19 days off. Darker blue acicular means 18 days off. Dark blue acicular means 17 days off. Blue acicular means 16 days off. Blue clear means 15 days off. Light blue means 14 days off. Dark sign means 13 days off. Half dark sign means 12 days off. Sign means 11 days off. Half light sign means 10 days off. Light sign means 9 days off. Lighter sign means 8 days off. Lightest sign means 7 days off. Darkest snow means 6 days off. Darker snow means 5 days off. Dark snow means 4 days off. Snow means 3 days off. Light snow means 2 days off. Lighter snow means 1 day off. Lightest snow means you go home at 12:30. Super lightest turquoise means you go home at 1:30. Lightest turquoise means you go home at 2:30. Lighter turquoise means no more homework for the rest of the year. Light turquoise means no more homework for the rest of the week. Turquoise means you get a homework pass for all classes. Spring turquoise means you get a homework pass. Super darkest jet green means 12 hours of free time. Darkest jet green means 11 hours of free time. Darker jet green means 10 hours of free time. Dark jet green means 9 hours of free time. Jet green means 8 hours of free time. Light jet green means 7 hours of free time. Light seaweed means 6 hours of free time. Half light seaweed means 5 hours of free time. Seaweed means 4 hours of free time. Dark pistachio means 3 hours of free time. Pistachio means 2 hours of free time. Dark green means 1 hour of free time. Green means 30 minutes of free time. Plum means 15 minutes of free time. Strong line means you get a cheap board game. Electric line means you get a jigsaw puzzle game. Lemon line means you get a bag of candy. South yellow means you get a beach ball. Dark yellow dot means you get a frisbee. Solo dot means you get a small treat. Light solo dot means you get 2 prizes. Darkness means you get 1 prize. Mint means you get a bag of stickers. Highest sign means you get 2 pieces of candy. Highest blue means you get a piece of candy. Highest purple means you get a small toy. Highest pink means you get a pen or a pencil. Mint cream means you get a sticker. Night, happen and you stay here. Maximum superlightus goes white means a warning. Superlightus goes white means a serious warning. Maximum superlightus magnolia means a very serious warning. Superlightus magnolia means a really serious warning. Maximum superlightus milk white means a super serious warning. Superlightus milk white means a super duper serious warning. Maximum superlightus floral white means you lose 10 minutes of recess. Superlightus floral white means you lose 30 minutes of recess. Maximum superlightus ivory means you lose 50 minutes of recess. Superlightus ivory means a talk after school. Lightest ghost white means 5-minute timeout. Lightest magnolia means 10-minute timeout. Lighter ghost white means 15 timeout. Lighter magnolia means 20-minute timeout. Light ghost white means 25-minute timeout. Light magnolia means 30-minute timeout. Light milk white means 35-minute timeout. Light floral white means 40-minute timeout. Light ivory means 45-minute timeout. Ghost white means 50-minute timeout. Magnolia means 55-minute timeout. Milk white means 1 minute detention. Floral white means 2-minute detention. Ivory means 3-minute detention. Dark milk white means 4-minute detention. Dark floral white means 5-minute detention. Dark ivory means 6-minute detention. Beige means 7-minute detention. Cream means 8-minute detention. Dark beige means 9-minute detention. Dark cream means 10-minute detention. Darker beige means 13-minute detention. Darker cream means 15-minute detention. Darkest beige means 18-minute detention. Light yellow means 20-minute detention. Half light yellow means 23-minute detention. Quarter light yellow means 25-minute detention. 8 dark yellow means 28-minute detention. Quarter dark yellow means 30-minute detention. Half dark yellow means 35-minute detention. Dark yellow means 40-minute detention. Half darker yellow means 45-minute detention. Darker yellow means 50-minute detention. Half darkest yellow means 55-minute detention. Darkest yellow means 1 hour detention. Half super darkest yellow means 90-minute detention. Super darkest yellow means 2-hour detention. Half maximum super darkest yellow means 150-minute detention. Maximum super darkest yellow means 3-hour detention. Olet means 4-hour detention. Cosmic Quadrillion means 5-hour detention. Parchment means 6-hour detention. Rice means 7-hour detention. Cornset means 8-hour detention. French vanilla means 9-hour detention.
Papaya nut means 10-hour detention. Sand means 11-hour detention. Tuscan means 12-hour detention. Australian means 13-hour detention. Toscan means 14-hour detention. Dutch White means 15-hour detention. Tan means 16-hour detention. Champagne means 17-hour detention. Apricot means 18-hour detention. It is double. 9 plus 9 equals 18. Seashell means 19-hour detention. Dark seashell means 20-hour detention. Oat means 21-hour detention. Dark oat means 22-hour detention. Macaroon means 23-hour detention. Banana means 24-hour detention. Antique white means 25-hour detention. Lemon means 26-hour detention. Moon means 27-hour detention. Daisy means 28-hour detention. Baby powder means 29-hour detention. Dark peach means 30-hour detention. Peach means 31-hour detention. Sugar cookie means 32-hour detention. Yellow means 33-hour detention. Dark sugar cookie means 35-hour detention. Eggshell means 36-hour detention. Flax means 37-hour detention. Light flax means 38-hour detention. Lighter flax means 39-hour detention. Lightest flax means 40-hour detention. Orloin means 41-hour detention. Dark orloin means 42-hour detention. Saffron means 43-hour detention. Khaki means 44-hour detention. Gold mud means 45-hour detention. Honey means 46-hour detention. Pineapple means 47-hour detention. Strong corn means 2-day detention. Corn means 3-day detention. Windows means 4-day detention. Sunglow means 5-day detention. Tangerine means 6-day detention. White copper means 1 week detention. Copper means detention until school ends. Purple spikes means detention forever.
Means 1-day suspension. Shortbread means 2-day suspension. Medallion means 3-day suspension. Lululemon means 4-day suspension. Dark Caprica means 5-day suspension. Peanut means 6-day suspension. Butterscotch means 7-day suspension. Dark peanut means 8-day suspension. Darker peanut means 9-day suspension. Darkest peanut means 10-day suspension. Cinnamon means 11-day suspension. Ponsy means 12-day suspension. Sundower means 13-day suspension. Dark Sundower means 14-day suspension. Darker Sundower means 15-day suspension. Darkest Sundower means 16-day suspension. White Dijon means 17-day suspension. Dijon means 18-day suspension. Robin Ducky Era means 19-day suspension. Dark Robin Ducky Era means 20-day suspension. Darker Robin Ducky Era means 25-day suspension. White Encore means 30-day suspension. Iron Core means 35-day suspension. McDonald's Era means 40-day suspension. Mikado Era means 45-day suspension. The White Samba means 50-day suspension. The White Amber means 55-day suspension. The White Amber means 60-day suspension. Amber means 65-day suspension. Dark Amber means 70-day suspension. Darker Amber means 75-day suspension. Darkest Amber means 80-day suspension. Darkest Selective Yellow means 85-day suspension. Darker Selective Yellow means 90-day suspension. Dark Selective Yellow means 95-day suspension. Selective Yellow means 100-day suspension. White Selective Yellow means 110-day suspension. Redder Selective Yellow means 120-day suspension. The Whitest Selective Yellow means 130-day suspension. White Amber means 140-day suspension. Cambridge means 150 day suspension. Indian Layer means 160 day suspension. Whitest past that orange means 170 day suspension. White past that orange means 180 day suspension. White past that orange means 190 day suspension. Past that orange means 200 day suspension. Dark past that orange means 210 day suspension. Darker past that orange means 220 day suspension. Darkest past that orange means 230 day suspension. Mahogany means 240 day suspension. Brown means 250 day suspension. Light brown means 260 day suspension. Chubby means 270 day suspension. Halloween orange means 280 day suspension. Dark neon carrot means 290 day suspension. Neon carrot means 300 day suspension. Light neon carrot means 310 day suspension. White Amazon orange means 320 day suspension. Amazon orange means 330 day suspension. Dark Amazon orange means 340 day suspension. Deep saffron means 350 day suspension. Cadmium orange means 360 day suspension. White papaya orange means 370 day suspension. Papaya orange means 380 day suspension. Benton orange means 390 day suspension. Dark Benton orange means 400 day suspension. Giant orange means 410 day suspension. West means 420 day suspension. Iron orange means 430 day suspension. Blue means 440 day suspension. Dark liver means 450 day suspension. Persimmon means 460 day suspension. Deer means 470 day suspension. Camel ground means 480 day suspension. Dark caramel ground means 490 day suspension. Hazel means 500 day suspension. White orange means 550 day suspension. Orange means 600 day suspension. Dark orange means 650 day suspension. Sunlight blue means 700 day suspension. Dark sunlight blue means 750 day suspension. Coconut means 800 day suspension. Dark coconut means 850 day suspension. Oak brown means 900 day suspension. Chocolate means 950 day suspension. Cafe means 1,000 day suspension. Coffee means 1,100 day suspension. White wrench means 1,000 day suspension. Wrench means 1,300 day suspension. Purple and brown means 1,400 day suspension. White umber means 1,500 day suspension. Umber means 1,600 day suspension. French brown means 1,700 day suspension. Mocha means 1,700 day suspension. White walnut means 117 day suspension. Walnut means 2,000 day suspension. Blister means 2,250 day suspension. Zero dark brown means 2,500 day suspension. Dark zero dark brown means 3,000 day suspension. Junior brown means 3,500 day suspension. Almost red means 10-year suspension. White cloud means 15-year suspension. Super white seaside means 20-year suspension. Dark white means 25-year suspension. Super lightest fog gray means 30-year suspension. Super lightest perspective gray means 35-year suspension. Super lightest fog pale means 40-year suspension. The lightest seaside means 45-year suspension. The lightest fog gray means 50-year suspension. The lightest perspective gray means 55-year suspension. The lightest fog pale means 60-year suspension. The lightest trans gray means 65-year suspension. The lightest aluminum means 70-year suspension. The lightest timberwolf means 75-year suspension. The lightest troy goose means 80-year suspension. The lightest seesaw means 85-year suspension. The lighter fog gray means 90-year suspension. The lighter perspective gray means 95-year suspension. The lighter pale means 100-year suspension. The lighter Greensboro means 110-year suspension. The lighter aluminum means 120-year suspension. White timberwolf means 130-year suspension. White gray goose means 140-year suspension. Seesaw means 150-year suspension. Downright means 160-year suspension. Front gray means 170-year suspension. Perspective gray means 180-year suspension. Old brilliant means 190-year suspension. Greensboro means 200-year suspension. Aluminum means 250-year suspension. Timberwolf means 300-year suspension. Gray goose means 350-year suspension. Cinder means 400-year suspension. Gravel means 450-year suspension. suspension. Medium titanium means 550 years suspension. Pastel gray means 600 years suspension. Medium pastel gray means 650 years suspension. Red gray cloud means 700 years suspension. Red ash gray means 750 years suspension. Red pewter means 800 years suspension. Gray cloud means 850 years suspension. Ash gray means 900 years suspension. Pewter means 950 years suspension. Red gray means 1,000 years suspension. Granite means 1,500 years suspension. Medium granite means 2,000 years suspension. Steel means 2,500 years suspension. Medium steel means 3,000 years suspension. Argent means 3,500 years suspension. Dark steel means 4,000 years suspension. Dark argent means 4,500 years suspension. Medium Spanish gray means 5,000 years suspension. Spanish gray means 5,500 years suspension. Metal means 6,000 years suspension. Battleship gray means 6,500 years suspension. Troll gray means 7,000 years suspension. Stone means 7,500 years suspension. Red means 8,000 years suspension. Dark stone means 8,500 years suspension. Red slate gray means 9,000 years suspension. Slate gray means 9,500 years suspension. Replica gray means 10,000 years suspension. Dark slate gray means 11,000 years suspension. Dark replica gray means 12,000 years suspension. Reed means 13,000 years suspension. Hex gray means 14,000 years suspension. Dark gray means 15,000 years suspension. Smoky gray means 16,000 years suspension. Red cement means 17,000 years suspension. Iron means 18,000 years suspension. Red concrete means 19,000 years suspension. Dim gray means 20,000 years suspension. Smoke means 21,000 years suspension. Concrete means 22,000 years suspension. Carbon gray means 23,000 years suspension. Cement means 24,000 years suspension. Dim gray means 25,000 years suspension. Davies gray means 26,000 years suspension. Vampire gray means 27,000 years suspension. Medium means 28,000 years suspension. Coal means 29,000 years suspension. Oil means 30,000 years suspension. Medium charcoal means 35,000 years suspension. Silver means 40,000 years suspension. Arsenic means 45,000 years suspension. Medium arsenic means 50,000 years suspension. Low carbide means 55,000 years suspension. Low turbidity means 60,000 years suspension. Carbide means 65,000 years suspension. Ebony means 70,000 years suspension. Jet means 75,000 years suspension. Gunmetal means 80,000 years suspension. Outer space means 85,000 years suspension. Licorice means 90,000 years suspension. Ink means 95,000 years suspension. Obsidian means 100,000 years suspension. Almost black means 150,000 years suspension. Dark obsidian means 200,000 years suspension. Broad tree coal means 250,000 years suspension. Rosewood means 300,000 years suspension. Cacao means 350,000 years suspension. Rye means 400,000 years suspension. Skin red means 450,000 years suspension. Bottom red means 500,000 years suspension. Climate means 550,000 years suspension. Firewick means 600,000 years suspension. Maroon means 650,000 years suspension. Burgundy means 700,000 years suspension. Incarnate means 750,000 years suspension. Red Devil means 800,000 years suspension. Chestnut means 850,000 years suspension. Sangria means 900,000 years suspension. Dharma means 950,000 years suspension. Cranberry means 1 million years suspension. Japanese Carmine means 2 million years suspension. Auburn means 3 million years suspension. Carnelian means 4 million years suspension. Chili pepper means 5 million years suspension. Your true black means 6 million years suspension. Cardinal means 7 million years suspension. Grove red means 8 million years suspension. Venetian red means 9 million years suspension. Candy apple red means 10 million years suspension. Lava means 15 years suspension. Fire red means 20 million years suspension. Crimson means 25 million years suspension. Scarlet means 30 million years suspension. Red means 35 million years suspension. Means 40 million years suspension. Baseball bat means 45 million year suspension. Hammer means 50 million year suspension. Syringe means 55 million year suspension. Big syringe means 60 million year suspension. Scalpel means 65 million year suspension. Big scalpel means 70 million year suspension. Teaser means 75 million year suspension. Saw means 80 million year suspension. Drill means 90 million year suspension. Ninja Star means 100 million year suspension. Shuriken means 200 million year suspension. Knife means 300 million year suspension. Military knife means 400 million year suspension. Warhammer means 500 million year suspension. Swords means 600 million year suspension. Katana means 700 million year suspension. Cutlass means 800 million year suspension. Halberd means 900 million year suspension. Spear means 1 billion year suspension. Monkey Blade means 2 billion year suspension. Phoenix Blade means 3 billion year suspension. Machete means 4 billion year suspension. Buster Swords means 5 billion year suspension. Spider Bat means 6 billion year suspension. Axe means 7 billion year suspension. Hatchet means 8 billion year suspension. Pickaxe means 9 billion year suspension. Saw Blade means 10 billion year suspension. Grenade means 20 billion year suspension. Bomb means 30 billion year suspension. Poison bottle means 40 billion year suspension. Pistol means 50 billion year suspension. Revolver means 60 billion year suspension. Musket means 70 billion year suspension. Sniper means 80 billion year suspension. Rifle means 90 billion year suspension. Machine gun means 100 billion year suspension. Alaska 47 means 200 billion year suspension. Laser gun means 300 billion year suspension. Broken flag means 400 billion year suspension. Spider means 500 billion year suspension. Kill Spider means 600 billion year suspension. Eyeball means 700 billion year suspension. Zombie head means 800 billion year suspension. Pointed zombie head means 900 billion year suspension. Skeleton head means 1 trillion year suspension. Skull means 2 trillion year suspension. Darkness staff means 3 trillion year suspension. Devil spear means 4 trillion year suspension. Rangers means 5 trillion year suspension. Halloween candy cane means 6 trillion year suspension. Bag of candy means 7 trillion year suspension. Eyeball candy means 8 trillion year suspension. Skull candy means 9 trillion year suspension. 1990s means 10 trillion year suspension. 1980s means 20 trillion year suspension. 1970s means 30 trillion year suspension. 1960s means 40 trillion year suspension. 1950s means 50 trillion year suspension. 1940s means 60 trillion year suspension. 1930s means 70 trillion year suspension. 1920s means 80 trillion year suspension. 1910s means 90 trillion year suspension. 1900s means 100 trillion year suspension. 1890s means 200 trillion year suspension. 1880s means 300 trillion year suspension. Red alert means 400 trillion year suspension. Double red alert means 500 trillion year suspension. Ceiling crumbling means 600 trillion year suspension. Cyclone means 700 trillion year suspension. Water flood means 800 trillion year suspension. Fire means 900 trillion year suspension. Bombs means 1 quadrillion year suspension. Hyper snow means 5 quadrillion year suspension. Old friend means 10 quadrillion year suspension. Analyzing specimen means 50 quadrillion year suspension. Stick Roger plush means 100 quadrillion year suspension. Stick Guy 6 plush means 500 quadrillion year suspension. Bowser Jr. card means 1 quintillion year suspension. Bowser card means 1 sextillion year suspension. Tetragrammaton card means 1 septillion year suspension. Decepticon means 1 octillion year suspension. Team Rocket means 1 nonillion year suspension. Trollface means 1 decillion year suspension. Dirty Sigma means 1 vegillion year suspension. Poison Mushroom means 1 trigintillion year suspension. ZTR means 1 quadrigintillion year suspension. Blue Scream of Death means 1 quinquagintillion year suspension. Ebola means 1 sexagintillion year suspension. Crossbones means 1 septuagintillion year suspension. Bioxy means 1 octogintillion year suspension. Radioactive means 1 nonquintillion year suspension. Pentagram means 1 centillion year suspension. Screen Gems means 1 millimillion year suspension. Viacom means 1 million year suspension. Grayscale means 1 micron year suspension. Blizzard means you are expelled liberally. Tsunami means you are expelled in all schools in the city. Volcano means you are expelled in all schools in the district. Tornado means you are expelled in all schools in the state. Earthquake means you are expelled in all schools in the country. Meteor means you are expelled in all schools in the continent. Meteor shower means you are expelled in all schools in the world. Asteroid means you are expelled in all schools in the outer space. Explosion means you are expelled in all schools in the galaxy. Nuclear explosion means you are expelled in all schools in the universe. Doom card means you are expelled in all schools in the dimension. Black hole means you are expelled for life. Apocalypse means you are expelled until you die. Underworld means you are undeadly, but you only have one more chance to be good.
And finally, if you get the black card, do a super mega ultra extreme hypersphere and save that me to be expelled forever and ever and I never see you again.
Thanks for watching the real ultra longest behavior card game I will ever make. I filled out some spots already. That is all for now. This is me signing off.